If you're planning to remodel or finish an existing basement, but there's evidence of moisture problems, a few different things can be happening. Poor exterior drainage, inadequate or non-existent waterproofing at the foundation wall, lack of capillary breaks, high interior humidity, or poor air and vapor control. A combination of moisture remediation methods may need to be implemented, such as the installation of an interior drainage system, the introduction of an interior air barrier. We may need to uncouple the damp floor slab from the interior finishes, as well as introduce dedicated dehumidification. In this video, we're talking about how to prevent mold and moisture problems for your basement remodel. You aren't going to want to miss this. Let's get into it. Now, we have a couple of videos on remodeling existing basements and the various considerations that you need to be aware of, which you can go and watch up here, but all of these same principles discussed in those videos apply if you want to prevent mold growth in your basement. We need to ensure that the basement is adequately managing and controlling bulk water, and if we can't address water on the outside of the building, we need to address it from the interior. We need to make sure that we are controlling air movement both from the inside outwards and from the outside inwards. We don't want condensation forming on the foundation walls, and we don't want to trap moisture in framed cavities. Now, we have many different solutions if we're building new to address these challenges. However, our options become more limited if we are dealing with an existing building. If you're dealing with bulk water in your basement, where you're seeing puddles or small streams of water forming at the foundation walls, this is a drainage and waterproofing problem, but more likely a drainage problem. Water from the outside of the house is being forced into your foundation walls below grade via hydrostatic pressure, which is essentially the weight of water imposing itself against the walls and driving that water through any cracks, seams, or penetrations in the concrete or masonry, and through any imperfections in the waterproofing. This is the most difficult problem to fix and the most expensive, as your options are limited in this situation, especially if you don't want to dig up the entire foundation. The solution here is multifaceted. The first thing that we need to do is to make sure that any existing downspouts and gutters are being diverted away from the foundation and not just soaking the adjacent soils. If you don't have gutters, install them as soon as possible, and a downspout system to a dedicated on-site stormwater management system, whether this is a stormwater planter, a dry well, a rain garden, or an infiltration trench. We also need to make sure that the ground is sloped away from the foundation walls on all sides of the home. If the grade is sloped towards your home and can't be corrected, install a French drain system around the foundation to collect the surface runoff and to divert it away from the foundation walls. The idea here is to reduce the amount of water permeating into your foundation while still acknowledging that some water will still find a way inside. The second step in this strategy is to install an interior perimeter drainage system below the existing slab. This requires partial demolition of the slab at the perimeter, which is neither easy nor inexpensive. However, it's absolutely necessary to prevent water from entering your basement. This perimeter drainage system will provide two important functions. It will address groundwater rise through your slab when the soils are saturated, and it will allow any water that migrates through the foundation walls to easily drain out without compromising the framed cavity. The drainage pipe will need to be set in a bed of crushed drainage rock and wrapped with a filter fabric to prevent sediment from clogging up the perforations in the pipe. This perimeter drain will also need to be connected to an airtight and vapor-tight sump pump with a backup battery, as the sump pump will still need the ability to function if there is a power outage. Then, we install an airtight and vapor-tight dimple mat on the interior side of the foundation wall and over the drainage pipe. We tend to specify Delta MS from Dorkin, but there are many dimple mat products available on the market. The dimples in this drainage product uncouple the moisture-sensitive framing and provide a gap for water to drain out towards the perimeter drain, alleviating hydrostatic pressure on the inside of the foundation wall. This also becomes the primary water control layer separating the interior conditioned environment from the exterior. The concrete slab will then be patched or capped over the drainage layer. Basically, the goal is to separate the wet components that can remain wet from the moisture-sensitive components that need to be dry. If you're looking for a complete guide on how to build a dry, comfortable, and durable basement, get my guide to basement design, only available at asiri-designs.com/shop. In this guide, we discuss everything from waterproofing and drainage techniques, insulating, condensation control, egress wells, HVAC considerations, and more. Links will be in the description below. Now that we've controlled bulk water from entering the basement, we need to control air movement and vapor transmission. If you have an old house or building, chances are the slab is in direct contact with the ground without a vapor barrier, which means that moisture drying out of the soils will be passing through the slab unrestricted and drying to the interior, which can raise interior relative humidity levels. There are several options for vapor control in this situation. We could use a plastic vapor barrier and tape it to our dimple mat at the walls. We could use another dimple mat installed over the damp slab to equalize vapor pressure, or we could use a liquid-applied epoxy vapor barrier, essentially coating the slab in a synthetic resin to prevent the movement of vapor up into the basement and the rest of the home. We also need to prevent vapor from the interior from condensing on cold, hard surfaces in the basement. This is where the use of insulation comes in, that being the right type of insulation. Insulation, when used correctly, can warm up condensing surfaces and prevent air and vapor transmission. This can be accomplished by using taped or sealed rigid foam board like XPS or EPS, closed cell spray foam, or an airtight vapor variable membrane like Intello, which would allow you to use air permeable and vapor permeable insulation types like fiberglass, rock wool, wood fiber, and cellulose in isolation. We also might need to insulate over the floor slab, mostly for thermal comfort, but also to ensure that we keep the finished materials warm and close to interior conditions. Typically, the insulation layer would go under the slab. However, in this situation, we need to insulate over the slab using some form of rigid insulation, such as EPS or XPS. Now, we prefer to float a couple layers of subflooring above the rigid insulation to provide a substrate for our finishes, but this isn't always preferred by contractors, especially if they have never done it before. Another more traditional method of insulating this slab would be to install pressure-treated 2x4 sleepers to form a shallow framed floor. Then, rigid insulation would be installed between each sleeper bay, along with a single layer of subflooring on top of the sleepers. Finally, we need to make sure that the basement is adequately conditioned, and we need to make sure that we are providing the basement with a dedicated dehumidifier. This will keep fresh air circulating throughout the basement while keeping relative humidity at safe levels to reduce the potential for condensation, which can be a major cause of mold growth. Guys, if you found this video helpful, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more weekly building science videos, and head over to our website at ASIRI-designs.com, where we have over 150 free building science articles that cover a wide range of topics. Links will be in the description below. For now, good luck with your projects. Cheers.